and today it is Book Review Friday! Every Friday there's a book review, except for next Friday because it's Black Friday and Thanksgiving and I'm going to a wedding that day. So today, as the title says, I'm doing a triple review. I am talking about Guilty Pleasures, The Laughing Corpse, and Circus of the Damned, books 1 through 3 of the Anita Blake Vampire Hunter series, written by Laurell K Hamilton. These books can all stand as individuals, which is why I'm reviewing all three. This is a non-spoiler review. I worked really hard for over an hour writing these out, making sure I don't give away nothing. Somehow convince you to read it. So let's start with Guilty Pleasures. In a world where vampires, werewolves, zombies, and witches are commonplace and have been as long as humanity has existed, Anita is an animator, someone who raises the dead from their grave, usually for things like court cases, like will disagreements, other things like that. But her lesser known job that she does on the side is as the executioner, the second most powerful vampire hunter in the United States. But laws have changed. Vampires are now basically humans, just undead humans, and she can't go around doing that job quite so well. She has to get a court order in order to kill a zombie, usually because they've become mass murderers and things like that. In this book, Anita is summoned by the master of the city to investigate a series of vampire murders of the strongest vampires in the city. And very quickly she ends up over her head. I gave this book a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it and I found it a lot of fun. The voice is so funny. It's kind of like Percy Jackson from the Percy Jackson and Olympian series, or Leo from Heroes of Olympus. That kind of fun, just from an adult, from a 24-year-old. And because this is a first book, that means there's going to be a lot of information dumping, but it doesn't feel like information dumping. It feels like someone sitting down and talking to you while being snarky and sarcastic the whole time. It's really kind of fun to read. As you can see, I had a ton of tabs and I really loved the voice. I love Anita. I also like the whole cast. Jean-Claude is hot. Her friend Edward is creepy, duly so. Her boss is sleazy and her friends are really fun. And I love this book. I also love Anita's confidence and her wit. There's this one line where she's like, no one seemed to get my humor. If I didn't have such good self-confidence, I would think people didn't think me funny. Nah. Like things like that. Oh gosh, she's so good. I also like that Anita is the first female hero over 21 that I've ever read who doesn't drink. Seriously, this is a first for me. I love her little collection of penguins that she has. It's really cute, it's a nice quirk, and it also adds to the flavor of Anita, this character who's funny and strong and can gets into gun battles in the middle of daylight and is armed all the time and kills vampires, and she sleeps with a stuffed penguin sometimes. That's really fun, I love that. And getting into one thing from the book, on page 101, the receptionist at the place where Anita works, Animators Incorporated, the receptionist Mary does a hubba hubba motion. I can't even say that with a straight face. I'm like, what the hell is a hubba hubba motion? Because someone, I don't know. What is that? I don't know. It's funny. I enjoyed it. That's the type of things that just keeps happening throughout the entire book. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of scary. The master of the city gave me nightmares when I read this the first time. But even reading it, I loved it. There were no parts that I didn't really like. I did get a little uncomfortable at certain scenes involving a certain character who's a stripper. But other than that, you were supposed to feel uncomfortable because Anita's uncomfortable, but other than that, I really loved it. Moving on to The Laughing Corpse. A powerful zombie is on the loose, so of course the police contact the executioner, who is one of their go-to people for this kind of thing, and Anita very quickly realizes that this is almost 100% positive the work of the zombie queen of St. Louis, Dominga Salvador. And of course, upon meeting Dominga Salvador, she ends up with not only a killer zombie, a crime lord, the new master of the city, but now Dominga Salvador breathing down her neck and all wanting a piece of Anita. For their own reasons, or perhaps to kill her, you'll have to read. And of course, Anita pissed off Dominga Salvador in the very beginning, because that's just how Anita works. Dominga Salvador is scary as hell. She is so scary and creepy. She's one of my favorite villains to hate. She's just, even when Dominga is sitting in her kitchen trying to pretend to be the grandma, she just oozes evil. Just, oh man. There is some gore. It is a killer zombie, and zombies rip people apart. And it's pretty gory in this book. I couldn't read Anita at the crime scenes. I couldn't. I had to skip over them. They were so nasty. This isn't as fun as Guilty Pleasures. You can tell by my, like, 6 tabs I have in here. Okay, I have 8 tabs in here. Whoop-de-doo. This isn't very fun. Anita's losing some of her confidence, and with her confidence goes some of her wit. And there's a lot of heavier things going on with the killer zombie. Domingo Salvador makes it scary. Although seeing John Claude shirtless multiple times, that made it worth it. So this only got a 4 out of 5 stars. Still liked it. Still was willing to reread it. I didn't give up on it at all. And if y'all know me, I give up on books more than almost anyone else on BookTube. But I just loved it. I love the climax. I love how Anita grows, but at the same time, she's also losing some of herself that I fell in love with in Guilty Pleasures. And finally, book 3, Circus of the Damned. The new master of the city is facing internal and external threats and is relying on Anita more and more to get what he wants done. Frustrated by this and dealing with some super-powered vampires going on killing sprees, Anita has to choose what side she's on. And even if she makes the choice, still she isn't positive that she's making the right one. This one is definitely not as fun as Guilty Pleasures. It's not as heavy as Laughing Corpse because we don't have people being ripped apart, but there's still a lot of death. There's still some gore. But the main thing is that Anita isn't sure of herself at all. Her confidence is heavily shot, and she feels the whole time that she's in over her head. She doesn't know who to turn to. She doesn't know who she can trust, and it really detracts. I didn't put any stickers in this because while there were things that I liked, nothing really jumped out at me. There's a vampire hunt to get those killer vampires. The one in the hospital is so scary, but that was really, really fun to read. I didn't put any stickers in that part because the whole thing was so well done, and it was creepy, and it was like perfect for Halloween. The battle is really cool. There's a battle towards the end, again, a little bit gory, but the main thing that I liked that wasn't true in these books is that you don't really know who the bad guy is. Very quickly, you meet a character in these books and you meet the bad guy and you know it's the bad guy. And Anita knows it's the bad guy, and all Anita has to figure out how she's gonna take them down and kill them or whatever. That's not very true in this. Again, she doesn't know what side she's on. She doesn't know who to turn to. So it was not so easy to call the plot in this book. Even rereading it, I didn't remember very much at all about these 2 books, and even not a lot in this book. But this book especially, I remember the battle, I think, because of the title. That may be a tiny bit of a spoiler, but yeah, because the title and what was behind the title, I didn't remember anything else. So that made this, basically, I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars, 4.5 out of 5 stars. This is the best so far. I need to get a new copy. There's some nasty ass stains in there, and you can tell where something punctured it right where my finger is. Yeah, this is not the greatest copy. But these 2 are pretty good. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to see more. Again, every Friday is a book review. Remember, next week I'm only doing 1 or 2 videos. That's it. And then I got a wedding to go to. And if I do a second video, it won't be BookTube related, but please stick around for that. So subscribe to see more after next week, and subscribe to see what video I'm coming up with next. Good luck with your reading, whether it be zombies, vampires, or whatnot, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! Very quickly she ends up a little bit over her head. And very quickly she ends up getting of the city. Her confidence is heavily shot after this. No, not after that book. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I already said that. I'm repeating myself, even though I read it after. No, I didn't read it after. I read it in October. What? I don't know. I lost what I was gonna say. And why it's in there. I remember that. I don't remember anything. I didn't remember anything else. Now I remember everything. I just reread it. It didn't fun, and I wasn't sure of what was going to happen. I keep repeating myself. Anywho,